So this question is about fairies, angels, or good spirits, devas, you might say. Um, Sometimes you walk into a room and really is a good feeling, you know? Uh, like some kind of magical light is shining there and you feel it in your heart, you know? And sometimes you might walk into a place and it's another kind of feeling, like a very dark energy, or you might walk into a room and there's a very dead, dull energy. What would you think about, what would you have to say about things like angels or fairies that maybe you cannot see with the human eye normally? What would you say about them, and how would you say that experience as them relates to practice of spiritual techniques or to enlightenment?
So, as you like Ramana Maharshi, I will try to say what I imagine or what I think. Ramana Maharshi would say, who sees the fairies? Who sees the angels? That who sees exists prior to that which is seen. That who sees is the only one real. Everything else is just a phenomena. Even what you consider real right now, this body, this thing, everything is just temporary. It's just flowing. It's just passing phenomena. This wall was not there 3 years ago. This wall is just now. It might get demolished. It will not exist. So its existence is only temporal. Even the things that look your body, this body was not there few years ago, few decades ago. In place of this body, few years ago, few decades ago, it was this small. Even if you go before that, it was this small. Even before that, you can't, neither science nor like any known language can find out this body. In Zen, they say, find your face before your grandfather was born. So this body that you see as real is just time-based, and that is not real. So if you start worrying about what is not real, what is only temporary, there are millions and billions, countless things that you can think about and worry about. And even a lifetime, many lifetimes are not enough to speculate, reason, understand reality of everything which may or may not be. But first you find out what is the one thing, what is one that is always real, that is really real. Once you find out that, then worry about everything else that may or may not be real.
Pretty good.
That's Ramna's answer, not my answer.
Ramana Maharshi. So I have maybe another question.
Sure, go ahead.
It's not strictly related to that. What about the people who take the drugs?
Yeah.
Who take cocaine or acid? And firstly, do you think is a value for anybody in that, in doing such an activity? And secondly, sometimes those people have interesting experiences, like especially on acid or different drugs. They sometimes experience another realms of reality or see things that other people cannot see. What would you comment on that?
Yeah, I will say that there is safer, better, cheaper way available to experience expanded consciousness, more awareness. You can call it different dimension. You can call it grace. You can call it love. You can call it enlightenment. There is safer way to experience that, and that way is not that hard. That way doesn't harm your body, doesn't do any permanent damage to your brain. And that way has been taught for centuries in many traditions, in many religions, many cultures, in many geographic regions, by many different names. It is called meditation. It also might be called contemplation. It might also be known as prayer. So that way is already available to experience the same thing. So I would question anybody who had to resort to drugs that might have negative impact on one's psyche or one's brain or one's body. So I would ask them to reconsider their choices. So what they are seeking might have some value, might feel good, might teach something, some experiences that may not be available for a normal human being going through normal daily routine. But meditation already makes it available in a much safer way.
So on maybe a slightly different topic, you've talked to me before about this, but maybe to hear about it again would be interesting. Reincarnation, death, reincarnation. What is death, and what is there reincarnation?
Yeah, so if you just go back to what we talked about a few minutes ago. So if you take the analogy of candle has a body. That body is made of wax, which itself is the fuel that burns. It has a wick that connects this body, this fuel. And then fire comes. Oxygen helps the fire. And then this light starts burning. As soon as you light the candle up, light comes out. So that light that is born, that light has no history. That light comes from the candle, but is not of the candle. The same light comes from sun, comes at very high degree, in greater magnitude, comes from stars, comes from light bulb, comes from moon, which is reflecting sunlight. But light is essentially same, whether it's coming from candle or coming from sun. So for light to think that it is born is an illusion. To light to think that it will take another birth, that also is an illusion. For light to think that I die is an illusion. To think that I get born is also an illusion. Because it's like you can think of it this way. So say like there's a dancer is dancing. And say this dance somehow had this ability to think, imagine, or be conscious. And this dance thinks, what would happen to me? But dance in reality has no separate existence. Dance is of the dancer. So in same way, whatever name you want to give it, you can give it oneness, you can call it universe, you can call it totality, you can call it God, you can call it Allah, Jesus, Christ, Rama, Krishna, Brahma, doesn't matter. So what you experience, what I experience, what everything is nothing but movement of that one thing. And that movement didn't start like a decade ago. It didn't start like 30 years ago. It didn't start 5 years ago. It has been going on. And as long as that movement is there, you experience this. So illusion is, samsara is, or drama is in imagining that this particular movement, this consciousness that you feel right now is separate from one that is dancing, one whose waves, one whose creation, one whose movement it is right now.
So I have yet another somewhat different question. This is perhaps a difficult question to answer because it's based on a personal experience of mine, and might not be easy to answer.
Then let's stop this recording.
Okay.
We'll, because I think some people